Sports Talk 2319. Thanks for joining me, and I am your host, Rashad Phillips. I'm so excited today. I got a few topics I want to talk about today. Obviously, the season has started. We've already had some thriller games. I want to recap a few of those. I want to give you some previews as going forward, and you know I got some players to put on the radar for you because that's what I do. Hear me out. Michigan State versus Duke. Preseason number 1 versus preseason number 2 had all the makings for a thriller. Listen, guys, we haven't had this type of matchup since January of 2016, where a preseason 1 versus a preseason 2 locked horns in the regular season. Remember Kansas and Oklahoma and that 3 overtime thriller that KU came out with a 109-106 victory? That was a phenomenal game. This had all the storylines for that to replay itself out. Think about it. Duke with the phenomenal incoming freshmen with Duval and Bagley and Grayson Allen as a senior leading this group. And then you got Jaren Jackson Jr. and you got Miles Bridges, who said he wanted to come back to school so he can win a national title. Well, this is a type of team you're going to have to beat Miles to win a national title. So this was probably a preview to that. You got 2 Hall of Fame coaches, Mike Krzyzewski, Tom Izzo. I mean, this was overload at its finest, and we were there to witness it. I want to break it down to you how the game went in regards to how both teams got after it from the jump ball to the finish. Both teams came out featuring their contrast of style. Obviously, Duke with Trey Duval want to get out in transition. They did a great job early on getting the ball out, finding their scores. Grayson Allen and Marvin Bagley Jr., he's great at running rim to rim. Bagley Jr. was poked in the eye early in the game, so he didn't get to finish the game. Michigan State, on the other hand, was full force throughout, but the first chess piece that was moved throughout the game was Krzyzewski going into his zone, recognizing that Michigan State struggles a little bit from the perimeter. And throughout the game, Michigan State just couldn't find the rhythm to counteract that Duke zone and kind of bring them out of that. Jaren Jackson hit a couple threes. He went 3 for 5 from the 3, 19 points. He hit a couple threes. And Miles Bridges even hit a few threes. So he went 5 for 10 from 3. So on paper, it looks like, well, Michigan State really shot the ball well from the perimeter, despite the zone giving them a little bit of problems. But if you look deeper and if you watch the game, the struggling piece for Michigan State was Cassius Winston needs to be more assertive offensively from a scoring standpoint. I believe that Cassius Winston has the best eyes in all of college basketball. He finished the game with 11 assists. He has a chance to maybe lead the nation in assists. But I believe for Michigan State to move further, he's going to have to be more of a threat offensively from that standpoint. But if you look at Duke, Trey Duval, 17 points, 10 rebounds, 6 steals. I mean, I told you guys in my previous episodes about Trey Duval. He's a phenomenal on-ball defender. He's a great athlete. He has those large hands, those long arms, so he's able to play the passing lanes really well, and he displayed that against Michigan State. And again, he's a willing passer, like I told you guys before. Grayson Allen, 37 points, 7 for 11 from 3, but a lot of that was because of Trey Duval's ability to get around his defenders and make the play. So if you look at that and you say, wow, Duke has a chance to really win a national title because Trey Duval is a guy that can make guys around him better. The game that I'm very interested in seeing this week is the Miami Hurricanes versus the Minnesota Gophers. Miami brings in Bruce Brown Jr. Everybody's talking about this kid, and rightfully so. I believe he's already had a triple-double. You add Jaquan Newton to the mix, Lonnie Walker. This team is pretty good from a perimeter standpoint. You look at Minnesota on the other end. These guys run like a well-oiled machine, and that has a lot to do with Nate Mason, one of the top point guards in the country. He ranks 7 on my board, but he's climbing each game that I watch him play. His maturity level has risen, his ability to lead his teammates. He's given Amir Coffey, Jordan Murphy, and Reggie Lynch, those guys, opportunities to explore mismatches the previous games. And Minnesota is just playing really good basketball right now. You bring in a guy like Isaiah Jelly Washington off the bench from Minnesota, who's one-on-one, one of the best players in the country already from a one-on-one standpoint, has a lot of flavor in his game, gets his shot off, can make plays for other guys. I believe that this game is going to be a high-intensity game, and look for both of these teams to play really hard, and let's see who comes out with the win. The kid that I'm excited to talk to you about today is 6'9", senior forward out of Wyoming, Hayden Dalton. Let me tell you a quick story about this. I was actually watching film on another player at the time. And as I continued to watch film on this other player, the Dalton kid's talent kept popping out on the screen at me. So I would watch another set of tape, and the Dalton kid talent was just undeniable, to the point where I switched my focus and started watching this kid. When you look at him and you read between the lines, you see a kid that can score on all 3 levels. Great post player, cerebral, can stretch the defense with his great technique and his jump shot, real high release, tough kid. Let's look at it like this. The first game of the season, 30 points, 13 rebounds, 9 of 17 from the field, 5 for 9 from 3, plays 40 minutes, only commits 2 fouls. And you think, wow, that was a lucky game. Nah. Second game of the season against Oregon State, 22 points, 9 rebounds, 7 for 10 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, 40 minutes again he played and committed 1 foul. 40 minutes, 2 fouls, 40 minutes, 1 foul. That's a telling stat to me. That shows me that this kid is smart, he's cerebral, and he's able to play long, extensive minutes because he has a high motor. I don't know what cable provider that you have at home, but you need to tune in to the Wyoming Cowboys and watch Hayden Dalton get it done. Another kid I'm excited to talk to you about, Chris Clemons, the 5'9" juggernaut scorer out of Campbell University. Great body, unlimited range, really good handle, draws fouls really well. Just the complete point guard, if you ask me. Has scored in double figures in all but one of his collegiate games. So that shows you how dominant and consistent of a scorer he is. The challenge Chris has is the same challenge that I had in all dominant scoring point guards at the collegiate level, is when to defer to your teammates, even though you know you can score at will. Once Chris figures that out, Campbell University is going to be a tough team to beat. They will be at the top of the Big Sky Conference, and Chris is going to be a joy for all of us to watch. Everybody want to continue to talk about freshmen. I've been getting a lot of emails, a lot of tweets, a lot of texts about what freshman thus far has really garnered my attention. And I'm going to go back to Trae Young. First game of the season, Trae Young goes for 15 points, 10 assists. Second game, he has 22 points, 13 assists. And I was just blown away by that. The more and more that I watch Trae Young on film, the more he reminds me of Mike Bibby. Very cerebral, understands his teammates early, has the ability to shape chemistry within his teammates, and he's done that early on. And I remember Mike Bibby establishing that same type of presence at Arizona his freshman season. Let's go deeper into that. There's not a lot of people, a lot of point guards historically that can score and assist at the same time, having both of those traits without hurting the other. I was one of those rare guards that could do that as well. In 2000, I was the first guard in 20 years to lead the conference in scoring and assists at the same time.
Only one MCC player ever, Greg, has led the conference in both scoring and assists. That was Loyola's Darius Clemons back in '81. Phillips is going to become the second member of this conference to do that this year.
That lets you know that you have to be a rare type of breed of basketball players to mix the two. And Trae Young possesses that rare gift. I would not be surprised if Trae Young would lead the Big 12 in scoring and assists because of his special ability. Let's continue to monitor Oklahoma's success through Trae Young. It's been a fantastic start to the season. I'm excited to see what next week brings to us. Until the next time, I'm your host, Rashad Phillips, and thank you for joining me at Sports Talk 2319.
Love my expertise info on college basketball players? Want to perfect your own play? Order my training DVD collection now at www.rpskillsunlimited.com.